Cheaters are getting sued.
And restart your riots.
It's Monday the 16th of October and this is screenplay patch notes.
Thought you were gonna go down, you went up.
I'm just keeping you on your toes. I'm Steph.
I'm Nick, and get ready for your weekly news injection. Steph, inject them.
A former Naughty Dog employee has made claims against the studio for sexual harassment. David Ballard, a former game designer for the studio, has alleged in a series of tweets that he was let go in February of 2016 after informing the studio and Sony HR of his allegations. He said he was offered $20,000 as severance as long as he stayed silent, which he refused. So Ballard says he's coming out with these allegations now and making them public because of all of the sort of sexual harassment allegations that are going around in film and television and stuff. Presumably the Harvey Weinstein schmozzle.
Yeah. The schmozzle, that's the word we're going with. Look, it's interesting. You don't hear this much kind of talk in video games that much. I feel like you hear it a bit with journalists from video games and players of video games, but in the development community, I feel like these big studios are pretty locked down in terms of the kind of culture that goes on working there. So
yeah, totally. And Sony have come back and said that they have found no evidence that he ever made these claims. So it's a tricky situation because, I mean, just because they've said they found no evidence of it doesn't mean he didn't.
Yes.
It just meant that no one
reported anything.
No one reported it or kept a record of it.
And why would you?
Yeah. Totally.
Why, if someone
if you were trying to cover it up.
Yeah, if you're trying to cover it up and you're like, I will pay you 20 grand and you can get out of here and we'll never talk about this again. It's like, now let me make a detailed series of notes and lodge this with Sony HQ.
I wonder if he had like an email sort of chain evidence or if this was all like verbally.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Discussed.
It may come out. Hopefully they dig a little bit deeper into it to make sure, because obviously that would be a terrible thing to happen. And we find out. Moving on, and League of Legends developers Riot Games, the co-founders of that studio, are returning to game development. Mark Trindamere Merrill and Brandon Rise Beck will be stepping away from upper management to focus on development. Maybe this means we'll finally see Riot Games in the future as opposed to just one Riot game. I think this is all because it's just too expensive to change the name of the company to Riot Game, and this is the only solution. They have to go make a second game to just justify that name.
So something to speculate. Sometime last year they bought, a fighting game called Rising Thunder was cancelled because Riot Games bought up the entire studio.
Yeah.
And we haven't heard anything about that since. So presumably they want that entire studio to make some sort of fighting game for them.
You would think that would be the case.
Maybe like a League of Legends sort of themed fighting game.
This is such a age-old story of people who get into a field, do really well, and then rise up through the ranks, and then suddenly, as you rise, it's like, oh, this is great, I'm getting more creative control, blah, 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 and then suddenly you just hit this point where you're in people management.
Yeah,
like
totally.
you stop making anything, and your whole day is just schedules and
you don't want to kind of like initially give that job up to someone else because then someone else has control of your whole company.
Yeah.
And so you want to, protect your baby, but then you stop doing all the fun stuff. And is that why you got into games to begin with? No.
Exactly. And I mean, I don't want to speculate about Riot's sort of current financial positions, but I'm gonna speculate. It must be nice knowing that they have the safety to fail with whatever they're about to make. Like, it's just, it doesn't matter if this game that we, want to make now doesn't work. We've still got League.
Moving on, Epic Games are suing some cheaters. 2 players who allegedly made cheats for Fortnite have been accused of violating copyright and breaking the game's end-user license agreement, whatever that means. Epic have claimed that one of the defendants writes codes for the cheats, which the cheat provider sells to its subscribers. The defendants face a possible fine of $150,000 in damages. That's a lot of moolah.
It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money that they are never gonna see. There's no way this works.
Yeah, this is all quite murky, and part of their claims as well is saying that they're targeting streamers to sort of peddle their wares.
The cheaters are targeting streamers.
The cheaters are targeting streamers, and they're like, how do you know? And they're like, well, because we can see them in chat just trash talking and stuff.
Oh, right. So they're cheating against streamers? Is that what you're saying?
No, I mean, I think they're targeting streamers to be like, hey,
oh, right.
You wanna buy some cheats?
Oh, right. Coming up in Twitch chat with a little Twitch emote of this guy. Like a little Twitch chat emote, you open that up, there's just a bunch of like ones and zeros in your coat pocket.
I think so, I'm not sure. It could be just that they're targeting streamers with their cheats.
And so you take, it's like when you go to prison and you walk in there and you punch the biggest person.
Yeah.
It's like, if I take down the biggest streamer, then everyone's gonna be like, ooh, look, I could beat, Nick Boy as well. Because of course I am the biggest streamer. playing Fortnite currently. Look, it is interesting. I'm sure every developer wants to do this all the time. But I imagine if the precedent is set that this works, then the whole thing cracks wide open.
Yeah, totally.
Everyone gets sued who's been cheating. It's my favorite part of this whole story is in the documents that they filed. Because, they file the things going, here's all our claims and here's everything that we're doing.
Yeah.
Item 52 just says, nobody likes a cheater.
No one likes a cheater.
And that's just like...
one of their reasons. It's not cool, bro.
Yeah, exactly. It's just this very moral stance that, we're right, nobody likes this, and so that's why we need $150,000. I do not think cheating is fine, but, it's going to be interesting seeing how this plays out. Fortnite has just become... You know what Fortnite is? It's not a game, it's an engine for stories.
It's true.
It's like a procedurally generated news story game of just every time Fortnite comes up, it comes up with a different context of some weird thing that Fortnite is doing.
And I feel like it's not even that good.
Look, it's not great. Let's be honest. And it's copying something that's amazing and it's doing quite well in the first place, but they're gonna spend all that money that they got from Battle Royale on legal fees. Moving on now, it's time for a discussion. Steph, take it away.
Discussion time, it's discussion time. Everybody loves discussion time.
Do you prepare these songs before we film? Or?
No, it's very stressful in the moment.
Yeah, right, just off the top of the dome. So today's discussion, a MP in the British Parliament, the UK Parliament, is putting forth an inquiry into loot boxes and how they relate to gambling laws within the United Kingdom. So the reason this is kicked off is someone in their constituency sent them an email or something and said, what are you going to do about protecting children? And
what are the legalities around this?
Yeah, and I mean, I'm fairly certain that the person who sent that email is a parent who has, their child has taken their iPhone and bought $400,000 worth of Clash of Clans crates. And so they want to know what they're going to do, and so this inquiry is going forth. And it's all sort of spinning off the idea that the Isle of Man, which is, a UK territory.
It's like in between, it's an island in between the UK and Ireland. Well, just put it on a map so everyone can see where it is.
There you go. That's the Isle of Man. Well done, the Isle of Will. So at the Isle of Man, they're the only country in the world that have a legal definition that in-game currencies are counted as money when it comes to gambling. So if there are gambling laws, then in-game currencies, even though they're fake, count in these gambling laws. So this person wants it extended that all loot boxes and all this sort of stuff, because there's a chance element, and even if you buy it with in-game currency, then technically you would be buying it with real money, which makes it gambling, and so therefore there's all sorts of laws that go along with that.
Yeah, and that would be applying that as a blanket rule to the entire nation, not just Isle of Man.
Yeah, which is something that, it's interesting coming up in the last few weeks where the loot crate discussion has blown up again with Middle-earth, Shadow of War being accused of, loot crate shenanigans by being able to buy things that make you better at the game. Forza 7's payment model is really weird with their loot boxes. Assassin's Creed has got them coming even though you're just using in-game currency. And Star Wars Battlefront is saying that, loot crates are going to be a part of that, even though they've come out and said it's an ongoing thing and it's not finalized from the beta yet, so.
I don't know, I just personally see them as quite separate things.
As in?
Like gambling and loot crates.
Yeah, right.
I feel like as a form of in-game, I get the way that's used as a device in-game, and I don't really feel like it's used in the same way. I think certain games, that system is applied better in certain games than others, and I think there's some games that just doesn't need it at all.
Yeah.
But I think that's more of a question to the developers than kind of regulating the use of them overall.
Yeah, and it's interesting as well about what games deserve loot crates or not. Because whenever I talk about the loot crate issue, people always say to me, but what about Hearthstone? Because, I've sort of nailed myself to Hearthstone.
Yeah.
And go, well, how can you say that they're bad, but Hearthstone, you buy random packs? And that the difference there is that I can't think of a different way to get cards in Hearthstone. Like, how do you sell 1,000 cards in a card game? You can't just buy them one at a time. That's a very weird. That means you need to buy an individual card every single time. Like the delivery device works for that kind of game. Whereas something like, Middle-earth, where you're buying these things to get better tools within the game, which you can, acquire in-game elsewhere, is sort of a different issue. If you make it a gambling law, though, I feel like that that clamps down on everything. And so
Yeah,
suddenly
totally.
the whole loot box economy, including something like Overwatch, which is just loot boxes for skins, that is also included, and that becomes a much murkier issue.
Yeah, totally.
I feel like it's our responsibility as the consumer to go, we're not going to buy this game that has the loot boxes that we don't agree with. We are going to buy this game that has the loot boxes which we're okay with. I don't think anyone loves them, but like, I'm fine with the Overwatch ones.
Yeah, I feel like once you start policing it, then it kind of becomes really difficult to sort of leave the power in the hands of the consumer.
Yeah.
I think it needs to be a choice for the gamers to, like, as you said, to be able to say, look, we're okay with it in this situation, but we're not okay with it in that situation. And look, I mean, maybe it's an ongoing discussion. It's just because we've always been used to seeing it in games like Hearthstone where, yeah, it does kind of make sense. When it pops up in something like Forza or Middle-earth, I'm like, this is not where I usually see loot crates. I don't want to see them there. And I don't want it to be like a pay-to-win situation, but then I kind of also understand that if people want extra bits and bobs, then, you know, maybe if they want to pay for that, then good for them.
I guess I don't see them as gambling as well. I guess I see them as a chance game, not gambling.
Yeah,
to me, gambling
totally.
is you're putting money in, hoping to get way more money back. Whereas this is like, there's a randomized...
With the potential to lose everything.
Yeah, exactly. So you either lose everything. So I don't think you ever lose anything. You don't lose everything on a loot box. You always get something. It's just not necessarily what you want.
Yeah.
So there is like X amount of dollars means I am going to get 5 things or whatever. You are at least getting something back in return.
My thing that I think as well, what's key in games like Hearthstone is that even if you get a card pack and you get 2 cards that you want and the rest are rubbish, you can still,
Craft, turn them into dust.
destroy those cards and craft them into cards that you do actually want.
Yeah.
So even the cards that you don't want aren't wasted. So I feel like that system needs to be implemented in every loot box situation so that even like the stuff that you get that you don't want or need isn't wasted.
Yeah, 100%.
And then it feels like a value investment at least every time.
Absolutely. What do you guys think about this? Do you think that loot boxes should be counted as gambling in the UK? Do you have a better idea? Because this MP is certainly looking for one. So if you let us know, we'll let them know. And now we'll tell you what you can play this week. It's Monday the 16th of October, and here's what you can soon play. If you like your social commentary wrapped in a blanket of lingering fart, then get excited for South Park: The Fractured Butthole. This time around, the South Park gang are jumping on the superhero bandwagon in their very own civil war. Want more silly dress-ups? WWE 2K18 puts large people in tiny clothes as they hug each other really hard for a belt. Thanks to the power of modern hardware, you'll be able to fit 8 of these aggressive huggers in the ring at once, as opposed to last year's measly 6 huggers. LX is an action RPG from the creators of the Risen and Gothic series. The game ditches sails and studded boots for a more familiar apocalyptic sci-fi setting, so you can club mutant reptiles with warhammers, just like our forefathers. May they rest in pieces. Contrary to what you see on screen, Gran Turismo Sport is not about putting a bunch of stickers on cars, it's about driving them around a track. The graphics look spectacular though, look at the detail in those stickers. Blah, blah, blah. Friday the 13th shows a reckless disregard for dates by arriving this Friday the 20th in retail stores on PS4 and Xbox One. It's the one time you don't want to press X to Jason. Jason! Ah! And Fire Emblem Warriors takes everything you love about that Fire Emblem series and throws it way out the window. Instead, it wraps the franchise's worst aspects, story, character, and dialogue, into a Dynasty Warriors-style hack-and-slash action game. It'll look excellent on the Switch, and it could still be fun, but I am very skeptical. That's what you can soon play. What are your picks? Let us know in the comments. So that is what you will soon be playing. Steph, what's your pick for this week?
Look, I'll be honest, there wasn't a lot on that list that really tickled my fancy.
Yep.
So I'm gonna say South Park, which is odd because I actually hate South Park.
It's true.
Quite a lot.
A lot.
But I think that just makes me quite curious about it. And I think I want to play it so I can just hate it.
Well, I think it's not even that you want to play it, you have to play it because we're reviewing it this week.
Yeah, I know, but I'm like recommending other people play it because I feel
okay.
like, there's something in there that people will get something out of, even if it's hatred, which is probably not because I feel like a lot of people love the things that I hate.
I mean, this is just, that to me is just a huge slap in the face to WWE and LX and Gran Turismo Sport, where you go, I despise this thing, and I recommend you play that over everything else that was just mentioned.
Like, you can't deny, I mean, they're very clever.
They are, yeah, oh no. Look, I
These
too
guys
have a
are
complicated
good.
with South Park, relationship with South Park, so.
And can I just say,
please,
it's not like I'm devoid of humor as a person.
That's true.
I find things funny.
Just you don't like Rick and Morty, and you don't like South Park.
I haven't really given Rick and Morty
like
a good go,
BoJack
to be honest.
Horseman. You don't like...
I've never really watched that.
I think you just don't like... do you fear animation?
Maybe.
Is that what it is?
I think I'm afraid of it.
Do you think it's because it's unnatural?
I feel like it's not transportative enough for me, unless it has songs and Disney. Mm-hmm. And even then,
Do you laugh at the jokes in Disney films, though?
I mean, I think I do this.
Oh, God.
You know?
You know how she just said she's not devoid of humor? She lies.
But it was just... And I quote this story every time I have a conversation about South Park, but it was like the episode...
Oh, I know what you're gonna say!
It was the episode where, like, Kenny had to crawl up inside some woman's vagina.
Yep.
Was it Oprah?
I think it was Oprah.
I think it was Oprah.
I think, yeah.
I forget why. I think it was a reality TV show.
Yeah.
And then there was another kid that had already crawled up inside there and just died.
Just a skeleton, yeah. And you were like...
And I was like... You know what?
What is this satirizing?
I don't need this. I don't need this in my life.
All right. Well, maybe don't watch Rick and Morty then. My pick for this week is Fire Emblem Warriors, which is interesting because I, like you, also hate a lot of what this game represents. Because I love the Fire Emblem series, but they've taken out the thing I love from there, which is the combat, and they've replaced it with just terrible, terrible, terrible looking combat. Well, can we throw up that shot of the horse? Will's nodding. Look at the horse. Look at how this horse is moving. That is ridiculous. But I am morbidly curious as to how it plays, because I've never played one of these sort of Dynasty Warrior style games. So we will see. What are your guys' picks? Let us know in the comments. And now it's time for prize time. It's prize time.
It's prize time! On last week's episode of Screenplay, we gave you this image and demanded you do things to it.
And you did so many things to it because you're desperate. You're desperate for those prizes. As always, there were runners-up, and also there was a winner. Let's start with the runners-up. Will Doog is the first runner-up. Doog is a name that I feel like I've said before on this show. We've got an ET situation going on here.
Oh, I love this. The wheel is the moon.
The wheel is the moon. Miles is Drew Barrymore?
He's Drew Barrymore.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then you play someone who was never in the film.
I'm just there.
Yeah, and I'm Elliot,
Yeah.
and ET is ET, but doing the ET finger.
Oh, I'm pointing, yeah.
Yeah, and ET's doing the finger.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
actually a lot here. You know, I'm considering making Will the winner now that I really break this down.
You're unpacking it, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of thought went into this. You know why Will doesn't get to win? Because he used current Miles, not terrifying baby passport Miles, which is that's the genuine age of this child in the picture. Second runner-up was Meredith Bell. Speaking of baby Miles.
Baby Miles is a terrifying tire monster.
Yeah, so Meredith, this is actually on behalf of her son Angus, who created this
yes.
pick. I don't understand what's happening. I don't know why Miles is a baby. I don't know why the baby is, I think... Is that real baby arms and legs? Or
I think
is it
they are,
toy?
but they've just been mirrored and they're just really scary.
I mean, it's really terrifying. But there's something... You know what I like about it?
There's something kind of evil within too about this.
Oh, yeah, it's real
Kind
body
of
horror.
Weird body horror limb thing coming out of a thing, and this is just not how I want to see Miles.
But then at the same time, you and I are very proud parents.
That's true.
So it's
That's
like
true.
we've come home with
Look
this
what
from
we
the hospital.
created.
And also, he's got a dummy, which is terrifying with that beard. Runner-up number 3, Jace Booth.
I like this one.
This one's great.
Yeah.
How great is this?
Yeah.
First of all, you're... Wait, are you the driver?
That's
the driver's side.
actually how I drive as well.
Yeah.
I just hang out.
Hanging out
I just
window.
hang out. I'm like, hey, look at this car I'm driving.
Like, I can't believe they're letting me do this. This is insane. Look how fast I'm going. And then I'm the wheel.
You are roadkill.
And I'm screaming.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works. That I hold on to the tire as it rolls around, and my body is just crushed every single time.
Yeah.
But it's creative. Also,
You're screaming, but you don't look unhappy.
I feel like I'm screaming with adrenaline.
Yeah.
Like it's like, yeah! Or maybe I'm screaming, Steph, look at the road! Also, I think this just proves our colors work really well on a car.
It's true.
Like our logo looks sick.
It does.
Well done, Jace. And talk to us, MotoGP, or any of these racing organizations who Pete Shetty's head. MotoGP is motorcycles, is what he's going to say. So give us a call, Formula 1. Which I believe is what this car is. But of course, there had to be a winner, and the winner is Anthony Ginning or Ginning. One of the two. Look, absolutely zero Photoshop skills here. not a lick of paint, but I just like this.
They've recreated the photo in real life with themselves because
he works at a car center.
He works at a car center.
And there's a car out there right now that doesn't have a spare tire. There's an Audi driving around that Anthony has sold that doesn't have a spare tire.
I feel like she's doing a great impression of me as well.
Yeah, she definitely is. And I also like the fact that she doesn't watch the show, I assume. He does. So he's just roped in a colleague and she's like, why the hell am I doing this? And I'm sure she's not going to get a taste of this sweet prize.
No, congratulations, Anthony. You have won the Logitech wheel gear shifter and a copy of Forza 7, thanks to Logitech and the Gamesman.
But you only get it on the weekends and she gets it for all the week. You just have to keep swapping it back and forth. All right, here's what is coming up on screenplay this week. Our first play of The Invisible Hours, a VR mystery game where we need to solve the murder of Nikola Tesla and solve the mystery of why Thomas Edison is such a douchebag. We've also got a SNES mini stream and some disgusting character creation in WWE 2K18. Plus, we'll be answering your questions on Friday. We promise. So keep an eye on our Twitter and Facebook pages for more details. But a quick reminder that live stream of Twitch is going to be happening on Wednesday, not Tuesday. So that's Wednesday, 4 to 6 p.m.
And coming up on screenplay on TV on Thursday, how will the Shield Maiden fare against the fancy sumo dude? And a review of South Park, The Fractured But Whole. So make sure you're there to check that out on Thursday at 10 p.m. on 7mate.
You can follow Screenplay in all of these places. Check the description for more details and links.
That's it for the show today, but as always, we're gonna leave you with one of your fantastic clips.
Aaron Bush found a very creative way to get wasted in GTA 5.
Get to the Ruiner and secure so pilots will take you to the drop above the base.
If you've got a clip you want us to run, then send us a link to it on Twitter using the hashtag ScreenPlayMyClip.
You can send it to @ScreenplayAU, @NickBoy, @HeckSteph. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Did I say Nick Boy?
Yeah, I think so.
You were supposed to wear the onesie.
Oh shit!
What?
No, I will make up for it by wearing it in something else.
But the bet was the whole week. What's the point in
Well,
being
just-
awesome at driving if I can't humiliate you?
We'll just tack it on to the end.
Okay, we'll tack it on to the end.
Oh, that's a big scary
baby.
hole.
Oh, wait, look up. Look down. Okay, they were always stairs. Okay.